ready to go because we got this, and then we have the VIP after. So I know we have a couple people on live now. Corey, why don't you drop that VIP link now? If you are a VIP, you've already received the link. It's the same link that we get every week. If you upgrade to a VIP ticket, you'll have to do that directly through Stripe here. Then you'll get access to all VIP sessions that happen after the live calls, so we can really talk a little bit. And I think that's where I'm assuming Laura and Nikisha, that's where you're kind of saying that's where we really had some great magic, because it's not a presentation. It's really us having a conversation and diving deeper on something that we might have covered in the live call. And for everyone, if you want to know what the VIP is about, we actually included the VIP sessions on the replay page with the actual replay of these sessions. So exciting thing. So Corey dropped the link in the chat. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. And just a reminder, this is actually how we run our sessions inside of the Moving Forward Small Business community. When we do training, we actually do them live. So there is conversation going on with members of the community, so it's not dry. You know, you get to interact and ask questions that might be relevant to other people. Okay, so I'm going to ask my guests to mute themselves for now, and that's why you're seeing Laura, Corey, and Nikisha on, because this is typically how we do our trainings. I'll present, someone else might present, and then there are other people on so they can interact with that. So today we're on part 3 of our 6-part series around mastering AI search for your brand. Today we're going to talk about optimizing content for user intent. We want you to discover proven strategies to optimize your content for AI-powered search engines and user intent. This presentation reveals practical techniques to align with evolving AI algorithms and drive qualified traffic to your website. So again, there's that fear that AI search is ruining your website traffic, and to some degree it absolutely is. It's a lot more top of the funnel stuff that's getting hurt in regards to traffic than it is middle and bottom of the funnel. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. If you don't know who I am, I'm just going to do this really quick. You can find out in parts 1 and 2. Jimmy Newson, I'm the founder of Moving Forward Small Business. We're on a mission to save 1 million businesses from failure by 2050, leveraging innovation, technology, and strategy. Please look and connect with me on LinkedIn if you haven't done so already. A little bit about Moving Forward Small Business. We're a community-based membership. We focus on strategy and alignment, and we do things in a group type setting, which makes it easy and even affordable for you if you're looking for, strategic support. Instead of doing a one-on-one, which can cost you a lot, we got a lifetime membership going on. We have tons of resources. We're all about empowerment, and we focus on digital transformation, strategy, and innovation. Big shout out to SEMrush, who is our presenting partner for this. I'm a big SEMrush guy. I consider their tool the Swiss Army knife of digital marketing. Shout out to our strategic partners, Innovate Summit and Alexander Sky Group, which actually happens to be Corey and Nikisha here. Our media partners, Digital Marketing World Forum, Montclair State University, and SP Pro University. And then our small business partners, which of course Laura's one. She's a la carte catering and events in Houston. And then of course Noun Sourcing, Aim to Scale, Focus Forward, Talk Virtual, Caruso Enterprises, and Salamore. So with that being said, let's get into the nitty gritty. What are we doing? All right, so 2 of these sessions are already on demand. If you haven't had a chance, make sure you look at the replay page and get into it, because we broke this down into 6-part series because there is a lot of work. There is no way around it. So I know some people are like, this might be a little bit too much. You need to, as a business owner, you have to start to understand how important this particular specific topic is and why it's broken out into in such a way. It's broken out in this way so you can get very detailed instructions on how to get this stuff done and how to leverage technology to help you do so. So we on part 1, we did preparing your brand for the age of AI search, which was more of an overview of the entire 6-part program. Last week we did analyze brand visibility with AI Insight. Today we're going to look at optimizing content for user intent in AI search. And then, of course, the remaining 3 is identify competitors with AI-powered analysis. Part 5, ensuring high-quality, authoritative content for AI search. And then we're going to put a bow on it and look at building a strong online presence for AI search readiness, which goes well beyond the SEMrush AI toolkit, which we're going to be leveraging throughout this entire training. Okay, so let's start with understanding AI search priorities. Let's start with intent matching. AI engines prioritize content that accurately matches user intent. Your content must address specific user goals. Okay, you need to be able to review content strategies. Review your website copy to ensure it caters to different intents, whether that's informational, transactional, navigational, and commercial. I see I forgot that, but those are your 4 types of intent. And again, we're going to go deeper into this so you understand, well, what does that mean? These intents map themselves to what we call the buyer's journey. You know, the journey that someone has to go through in order to first be introduced to you to the point where they actually start to purchase from you. Okay, and that becomes that buyer's journey. Okay, and then we want to talk about creating targeted content. You know, how do you do that? For example, creating detailed blog posts for educational searches, or ensuring product pages clearly highlight benefits for buyers, adding conversational, frequently asked questions that anticipate the user's questions so it can help the site align better with the AI algorithms. You know, and this is where we're going to look at the anatomy of a blog post. And then you can also do the same thing for, let's say, a service-based page or a product-based page, where you're going to add key elements, key components to those pages to make it easy for a platform like Gemini or ChatGPT to look at that page and go, I just need this, 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 and this. Or you have this laid out really well, and it makes it easy for me to cite your cite this very specific page. Okay, we need to look at a user-first content approach. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to pause for a second and just kind of explain. I'm just going to, for day 3, for part 3, I'm just going to walk you through a series of things to kind of set your mind in the right position. Then we're going to move over to the SEMrush tool, and this is where we're going to start to go, well, what does that actually mean? And this is where I can now connect the dots for you. Okay, so when it comes to a user-first content approach, AI prioritization. You know, AI engines favor helpful, user-first content that simplifies the search experience. So, you know, we're talking about AI a lot, and you're going, well, where's the intersection between AI and human? You know, especially if AI is doing a lot of the work. Well, the objective is the content always still has to be useful, and it has to be to some degree unique, and it has to bring something new to the conversation, or at least, you know, something updated to the conversation. And that's where the human part comes in when you're having the AI do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Okay, search legwork. You know, modern search aims to eliminate unnecessary steps for users. So this one's important. You know, the modern search aims to eliminate unnecessary steps for the user. That's why we're getting less clicks at the top of the funnel, because they're making it easier. I'm now getting used to that. And I'll get feedback from Corey, Nikisha, and Laura as well on that topic, because I now will go to my AI search engines over Google or Bing, because I want to eliminate unnecessary steps to get the answer I'm looking for. Okay, and if it's at the top of the funnel, there's a high degree that I won't click through. But once I get my answer and I determine this is the direction I need to go, then as I continue my conversation, the thought of me clicking through rises, because now I'm looking for the solution. It helped me draw out the plan, but I still need something to execute the plan. Does that make sense? So let me get any feedback from either one of you 3 about kind of what I said. Maybe the evolution of your search patterns.
Yeah, I think for me, it's becoming a lot easier to utilize, like I said, the AI tools, because it's getting to the point, it's making learning much quicker. Instead of taking 2 hours to do research, I'm getting a lot quicker results utilizing the AI tools. So I think utilizing that is actually helping us draw us to those tools more than the traditional way of using Google and other traditional ways we used to look for information.
Absolutely. Laura or Nikisha?
Shortly after I started using it, I stopped using the Google search bar as my go-to, and the Gemini is my preferred as well. And I use that primarily if I'm doing any kind of search. It comes back with clean, detailed information quickly.
Now let me
And
ask you
so I
about
don't have
your. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and so you don't, it does a better job of search than Google search does.
Yeah, and then are you clicking through at some point to something, or are you just going to find something? What ends up? When is a click happening for you?
When I need to know the sources, because there's a link at the bottom and it tells you where they're pulling information from. So if I need to back up a fact, then I'll click through.
Nice. Okay. So backing up facts. Anything else, or you're taking action by maybe either deciding to put shortlist this possible service or product.
Yeah, to look at, because I used it the other day and I don't remember, it sorted businesses that I hadn't even heard of, and so I just cut and pasted it so that I could go back and explore those companies.
Okay. Nice. Nikisha, any thoughts?
Yeah, definitely using AI for search, and it just takes it deeper, right? Like I'm able to get more information and even dive into whatever I'm researching in on to another level that I can no longer get on Google.
Absolutely. And again, and for me, I'm actually starting to use AI, Google AI mode more. And that's because sometimes I want to, in Gemini right now, and this is where you'll look at the limitations of your tool. My two gripes with Gemini is I can't group all my conversations. And I would like to be able to group my conversations because I have so many different projects going on and I have to search through one long thing, which I think is a horrible user experience. They got to fix that. And two, because of the type of account I have, I can't delete chat. So sometimes I just want to do a quick search, but I don't want to save it and then continue to make that thing long. So I'll now search Google and then just go and waiting for it to trigger Google AI mode and click on AI mode and then have my conversation. So again, shortening, eliminating unnecessary steps. I don't want to have to read through 8 blogs that may or may not be very specific to what I'm looking for. And then of course the value focus. Content should solve problems and provide immediate answers, which is why we're looking at how we need to reformat our content to have frequently asked questions on every single post, every blog article, every service page, every product page, even on your about page. I would beg to say that every page on your website should have a frequently asked questions section specifically to that page. Because people might go, well, do I post the same frequently asked questions that for all the pages? Absolutely not. You make it extremely specific to that page. And how do you do that? Well, you take the URL and you drop it into your favorite AI tool and you go create a frequently asked questions section specifically for this page and only this page. And now it gives you another way of optimizing the page itself for AI search. So when people type in questions about something, you've already got 4, 5, 6 questions that should be very relevant, that should be able to somehow match the intent of the search. Does that make sense? Okay, let's keep rocking. So now we want to look at direct value content strategy. So we need to identify the queries. Now we could do it the hard way, or we can do it the easy way. The easy way is you use a tool like the SEMrush AI Toolkit, and I kind of showed you a little bit. I believe that was on day 2, where you're now it's able to aggregate all of the questions that are branded and non-branded around either your brand or your industry, and also that of your competitors. Okay, or you can just go straight to all the tools like Gemini and Perplexity and Claude and type it in yourself and do all that hard work. Okay, and see if you show up, which adds a whole nother level of complexity to that. Create direct answers, write clear, concise responses to these queries. Don't worry about, is it too basic? At the end of the day, you can't assume where people's mindset is. You have to provide the information. Everybody remember that show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Keep that shit simple. Excuse my French. And of course, there might be times where you need to make it more complex. You use the language based on the audience that you're targeting. If you're targeting, scholar academics, then yeah, you may not need to dumb it down. You need to talk in their language because that is your target audience. Okay? Engage the reader. Make content compelling beyond just answering questions. And then you need to measure impact. And this becomes the biggest part. How are you tracking the changes that need to be made, the improvements that have been made, and the results that have come from those things, and how you're continuing to use that to make better decisions, to direct you in the right direction. Okay? Leveraging long tail keywords and natural language. So, we all want to target those individual keywords, which I call root keywords, like plumber, accountant, consultant, business consultant. But we need to look at these longer semantic analysis. Semantic meaning, Google doesn't necessarily know how to read. What it does is it does things by looking at it realizes what keyword you're targeting, but it's looking for other keywords that need to exist in order for that to be a great written article or a great page that can deliver. And it's going, if it has these components, these semantic additional keywords, this must be a pretty good page. So that's kind of like a first stage. Second stage is the traffic that might be coming to that web page. If they're staying on that page, they're engaging on that page, that becomes another key signal. And people keep talking about SEO is dead. SEO is not dead. This is a part of SEO. If you want to show up in these AI search engines, they're still operating by looking at the anatomy of the page. They're looking at the semantic strategy of the page, which are traditional SEO tactics. Okay, so LLMs, large language models, interpret meaning rather than just matching exact keyword phrases, focusing on natural language patterns, conversational phrases, including terms that match how users naturally ask questions, think, and complete queries, not just keywords. And then question formats. And again, that's where that frequently asked questions. Even if I'm using a tool, like I'm going to show you a little bit deeper into ScaleNut, which is a tool I use specifically for writing blog articles. It does all this as part of the platform itself. But let's say you're using a third-party platform like Anyword, which is another platform I use occasionally, or if you're using ChatGPT. Sometimes I don't want a 3,000-word article. I just want a 1,000-word article, but I still want some of those components. A highlight reel, a highlight bullet list at the beginning, frequently asked questions at the bottom, bullet points throughout the article. So now I'll use a prompt, and I'll go, as you're helping me write this article, please include 3 of the top frequently asked questions for this, and also give me a highlight, at least 3 to 5 bullet points at the beginning of this article. And now, again, I'm formatting, even though I'm not. So you can use almost any tool. You just got to know, what am I trying to create? So when we talk about question formats, incorporate how questions, why questions, when questions, where questions that your audience will commonly ask based on that page. How is this done? Why is this important? When should I do this? Where can I find more information about? You get it? Okay. So when we talk about AI-friendly content structure, we need to now make sure I don't want to go to anybody's website and go to a blog article and see blocks of text with no headers, and when I say headers, don't create, create a header and then bold it. You need to make sure it's an H1, an H2, an H3, an H4, because that's how that creates kind of like an outline to a book, and it makes it easier for these search engines, whether they're traditional search engines or they're AI search engines, to start to, decipher the page. Add bullet points. I'll look at a paragraph and go, convert this specific this paragraph to a bullet list to make it easier to digest. And then, of course, that frequently asked questions section. So these are some of the top things that you need to do to start to make that content more AI friendly. And this is where you might start to go back to blog content, especially if you've been blogging for years. You need to go back and start to update those content, update those articles with up-to-date content, or if it's still relevant, add things. Like, let's take a traditional blog article and add a bullet, a kind of like an overview list of what they're about to read. And then at the bottom, add a frequently asked question of at least 3 questions about the topic that you covered in the blog article. Again, what these AI search engines are going to do, they're going to pull those bullet points or pull those questions to cite you. So you're making it AI search friendly. Okay? You're going to balance SEO and user experience. So it's people focused, keep the content centered on human needs. That means we need to know what they're asking. SEO best practices, we need to maintain technical optimization. So again, when people are saying SEO is dead, you still need to make sure you have schema, which I talked about a little bit on part 1. Schema markup. Make sure these pages are optimized. I'm going to show you a little bit of that today using going into the back end of one of our blog articles, and then showing you through a tool we use called the Yoast SEO plugin, because we're on WordPress. Now, you don't have to be on WordPress. You would just need to use the equivalent for your platform. Balance strategies. Keep content people focused while balancing SEO best practices with AI optimization strategies. That's where everything converges, like the perfect storm. Okay? And then as AI changes, we need to make sure that we're changing with it. And with that being said, I signed into the SEMrush AI Toolkit yesterday, and guess what? Another change. I'm like, but again, this excites me because these tools are figuring it out as we're also figuring it out, which means that you are at the edge. You, ladies and gentlemen, are officially cutting edge when it comes to this. And as it changes, you're staying ahead of your competition, especially if they're not doing it. So creating a comprehensive resources. Identify topic clusters. So these are traditional content marketing strategies. So group-related queries users commonly search for together. Create core content. Develop in-depth resources addressing multiple related questions. So this is where we're doing like pillar content strategies, where we have one master article, and then we have 4 or 5 deeper dives connected to that one. So that's your traditional, what we call pillar content strategy. You need to regularly update it. And then the question becomes, well, how do I know when to update my article? Well, there's a tool for that. So, and that tool for us is ScaleNut. And so I'll show you that. And then you have interlinking. You have to make sure still, and this is a traditional SEO thing, that you're linking to other articles within your site to offer a deeper experience for the reader. And again, these are the things that SEO looks for. These are now the things that are still important as we move into the world of AI search. Okay? So there are a number of different query intents when it comes to AI search, which can include they're either researching, the intent is usually based around research, around education, around comparison, around purchase, or around support. And again, you might go, I don't know what any of that means. You will in a minute. Hold that thought. All right, I'm going to pause for a second. What do you got, Laura? Were you going to say something?
I was going to tie this back to last week when we looked at the SEMrush tool and it gave us a rectangular block about how searchers were looking at our particular websites and where they were on this research support spectrum.
Absolutely, and we're going to go deeper into that today. So
Okay.
we're going to be specifically looking at that specific section that you just mentioned. Okay, so this goes deeper into that. So when it comes to purchase, on those queries that I just talked about, when I talk about purchases, ready to buy queries with clear transactional intent. When it's education, they're more interested in learning about topics in depth. When it's support, they're seeking help with existing products, either in the industry or specific to your brand. Comparison, they're now looking to compare products and services. So this is where they're going to start comparing you to your competitors. And this is where you're going to start to discover new competitors. So I want to bring up something real quick, and I'm going to tap Laura for this. Last week, Laura had a problem getting on this end, and I had mentioned that she had found a new competitor and added it. And when we were on the VIP call, she mentioned that, no, I didn't find it. The tool found it for me. And again, this is where these tools really become valuable to you, because you can't be everywhere. And to find this competitor that popped up on Laura's radar was significant. They were holding almost 50% of the visibility across all of the AI tools. So Laura, what did that mean to you when you saw that?
Well, it was a change of less than a month since I had previously run the AI checkup that we do in SEMrush. So it was a surprise because they popped out of nowhere, but they're obviously paying a very good SEO firm, and they're paying a lot for it. So it was interesting to find the competitor and then start learning about them.
Absolutely. So is this a fear thing or is this a strategy thing?
This is a strategy thing because my industry is highly fragmented. Anybody that thinks they can cook can try to be a caterer. And they do that, and then they typically realize exactly how much work goes into it behind the scenes, and they do something else. So it's strategy, because I can't stop competitors from coming in. I just have to make sure that our message is relaying what it is supposed to, so that the right target market, the right audience is attracted to us.
Gotcha. Corey and Nikisha, you want to say anything, or I know that was really relevant to Laura? Nope. Okay. Now, just a quick side note. I think I can cook, and no, I do not want to be a caterer. So I'm putting that out there right now, so you will not have any competition from me. Now, research, gather information for future decisions. And this is where that top of the funnel is still important, because people at the top of the funnel are usually in research mode. So the difference is they're not clicking to your site to continue to research. They're getting their research done without going to any sites, which is producing this zero-click phenomenon that we're currently seeing. But you're still building a rapport. And the bottom line is, if you're not being cited, you're not in the conversation anyway. So you don't have a choice but to make sure that you're optimizing properly, so at least you can show that you're being recognized by these search engines. So we got a couple more slides, and then we're going to go right into the AI tool, where we're going to put all of this to use. So these are the 4 types of search intent: informational, navigational, commercial, and transactional. So this has been true through the days of traditional SEO, and it's also true as we move into AI search. And informational is at the top. So if you got your funnel, you got you got your awareness phase, top of the funnel. You got your considerations phase, middle of the funnel. You got your decision phase, bottom of the funnel. Awareness, they're getting aware of their problem, and they will be met with a possible solution, which pushes them to consideration. They're now considering, based on the fact that they know what their problem is, what are their options for solving the problem. Decision means they've made the decision on how to solve it. Now they're searching to shortlist a group of solutions that they need to choose from. And again, if you don't have content optimized for all three of these stages, you lose out. So informational users seek knowledge or answers to questions. Create in here, you're going to create detailed guides, tutorials, or explanatory content. When it comes to navigational, they're searching for specific websites or pages, optimize brand terms, and main category pages. Think of e-commerce. Category pages are a certain type of shirt, a certain type of shoes, a certain type of vending machines. Okay, those are category pages. Commercial means they're getting further down the funnel. They're researching products before purchasing. Create a comparison guide and explain the detailed feature differences. So your shoe versus their shoe, your consulting services versus the consulting services of a competitor. You're not bashing anyone, as I said before. You're being unbiased in, well, what are the true differences between your services and their services? Again, because it's not even that, and this is where you can win, especially if you got some big players in your industry. So like I compete to a degree, even though they're also partners of mine, with SCORE and with the SBA. Now, they're the SCORE and the SBA, and they're massive. But, so how do I win? Well, I still am different from both of them. So I can create a comparison guide that talks about how I'm different from SCORE, how I'm different from the SBA. I'm not bashing them. I'm being very honest about here's what they do, here's what we do, here's how we address this, here's how they address it. Because the end user is still looking for the solution that's perfect for them. Now, what happens there is because I did that, when people start to search for SCORE alternatives and start to search for SBA alternatives, because they're going to have so much more brand visibility and and search visibility. If I did a good job with my article, then there's an opportunity for me to be discovered. Okay? And then transactional. Ready to make a purchase, optimize product pages with clear call to actions and purchase paths. Okay? So, building interconnected content. So this is what we talked about, the link building, and then we're going to move into the AI search tool. AI models understand relationships between topics. Create content networks that thoroughly cover your subject matter to improve visibility across related searches. You can't produce a single blog piece on a topic that you've only spoke about once and think that you're going to get authority on that topic. You need to show you have authority by producing numerous pieces of content and building an interconnected web that shows your breadth of understanding of that topic. Okay? So topic cluster diagrams show pillar content and related articles connected by lines, visualizing content strategies. AI algorithms analyze semantic relationships between pieces of content. Content creators build interconnected resource libraries and collaborative digital workspaces, and website internal linking structures connect related content as part of your overall SEO strategy. So you might go, I'm sorry, what? Don't worry about it. Again, I'm going to bring this I'm going to make this make sense, because now we're going to officially go into the tools so I can connect all that mumbo jumbo I just did into an actual thing. You go, oh, now it makes sense. So we're going to move into the AI search tool. So if you've been following this series, you can see again, they've made some adjustments. And so I have a little bit more learning to do, but I'm excited about that. So we're going to look at the SEMrush tool. We're going to look at the content audit tool inside of ScaleNut. So let's go ahead and do a bit of a deep dive. So we are now officially inside of SEMrush, into the AI toolkit. We're going to focus specifically on this section called questions. Okay. Now, this used to be called audience and content. They recently renamed it to questions over the last 30 days. And so Laura mentioned topic distribution. So we're on the demo of Warby Parker. So what we're looking at here is saying topic distribution, and I'll read this out for you. It's saying this breaks down top themes in user queries, like product features, brand comparison, and it helps you see trending topics people care about. So this helps. This is the starting point for you to figure out if I'm in the Warby Parker industry, the eyeglasses industry. I need to think about things. I need to create content around product features and innovation, shopping experiences online and in store, brand values and social responsibility. I need to talk about pricing, discounts, and payment options. I need to talk about customer experience and support. And I need to talk about eyewear trends and comparison. These are my top clusters. So if I can produce clusters around this, this is great. Now, not all of them are clusters. Some of them could be the actual product pages. Now, I'm going to show you the difference here. I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to look at this here. So this part here says audience and content, AI time critical shifts. So it's giving me some ideas of things I need to do. So it's going double down on affordability, highlight stylish, affordable frames, most queries seek value and price clarity. It's saying number 2, amplify try-on innovation, expand and market home and virtual try-ons. That's where augmented reality comes in, where they can try on glasses from the thing by looking into here and putting the glasses on. That's augmented reality. Try on 60% of questions mention convenience. And it says lead with sustainability impact, elevate social and eco messaging. 1 in 4 queries reference sustainability or giving. So this is now letting you know I need to have a sustainability. I need to have a some type of eco message wrapped into my offers that push people towards why, you know, they want more for the money they're going to give you. They want to know how are you contributing back to society. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the difference. So again, if I look, that was Warby Parker. Let's take a look at moving forward small business. Let's go to moving forward small business. And let's go to the questions section. And let's see how that might be different for a membership-based site like me. So now it's telling me my top distribution should be around membership, community, and network, which I don't talk enough about. So I have to start talking more about it. Training, education, and resources, which we have tons of. Strategic planning and business growth. Events and workshops. We're doing more events, hence this series we're doing. Support, mentorship, and coaching. We're now looking into developing a mentorship program. That one's going to be tough for us, but people want it. So I got to figure out, either I got to go and find a partner that will do the mentoring on behalf of moving forward small business, or where would I get the mentors and how would I facilitate that? Now, these are things that not that I want to do, but my industry is saying this is important for us to want to join your community. Okay. And now it's saying community-driven growth. Over 60% of queries seek strong peer support to networks. Flexible membership whims. 40% of questions mention demand for curated, flexible resource access, and actionable content matters. Okay, so let's take a look at A&M Equipment Sales. They sell vending machines across North America and South America. Let's see what their structure looks like when it comes to content. Okay, people want to know about product availability and types. They want to know about support and service. They want to know about brand specific information, because they sell very specific brands in this company. So they want to know, do you have this brand? Because this brand has a very good reputation. If you sell it, I'll buy it through you. Business setup and optimization. What does that mean? Well, we teach people how to be in the business of vending. So we need to make sure that we have content that helps them set up their own business and optimization so they can buy our vending machines. Purchase and financing, and company and research. And then let's look at our last one, which is a la carte catering, which is Laura's organization. Let's go to questions. And I did this so you can see that it will be, if you use a tool like SEMrush, it will be very relevant to your brand and your industry. Okay, so the topics of discussion: catering, services, and offerings, event planning and logistics, menu customization and dietary needs, company reputation and differentiators, booking and client support, and then pricing, packaging, and comparison. So would you say these are spot on, Laura?
They are, and this was just one of those little ahas where taking this, the first thing that I can do for a quick win is adding these to the FAQs on each of the pages.
Absolutely. Again, and this is where you start to go, I'm going to add this as an FAQ. I'm going to use this and create a blog. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to create a webinar series with one of my partners to touch on this topic. And this is where you start to spur opportunities to create the content that eventually, even if it's offline, it's going to end up back online. And that's where you now prove that you're addressing these topics. So let's go ahead and stay here. And now you can see, based on, these are the query searches for Laura's industry. It's all about research, education, comparison, and support. That's the type of content people are searching for in Laura's industry. So now if you come down here further, you can see they broke down the queries by topic and then the questions related to the topic. So catering services and offerings. So anybody searching for this category, you can see that it's 76% research, 19% education, 4% comparison, and 1% support. So here are the research questions. Why should I look for a full-service catering company for my event? Where can I find seasonal menu catering options? So these are things I would either integrate into frequently asked questions for a service page or a blog article. Or here's education. What features should I look for in a wedding caterer? How do caterers handle alcohol and bar services at an event? Again, blog articles, videos, comparison. And this is where your brand is being mentioned. How does a la carte event and catering compare to Papa's Catering in Houston? Now understand, this was an actual question asked in an AI search engine. This is not it making up things. It's pulling this from the search engine. So now this is where you would now create a comparison chart between a la carte event and catering with Papa's Catering and maybe 2 other caterers local to you. Again, not bashing them, but making a comparison. Maybe they're more expensive. Maybe they're less expensive. Maybe they outsource. Maybe, and you don't. Make sure that you proof this and make sure that anything that you put out there is true. Okay? If we look at menu customization and dietary needs, research. How do I find caterers that accommodate multiple dietary restrictions? What are the best options for customizing menu items? You know what I did? I took all of these questions and I grouped them by research, comparison, education, for moving forward small business. And I'm creating a master page that says how moving forward small businesses helps its members and the small business community at large. And I just had AI help me write a master page that incorporates all of these questions. And that's one piece of content, and that'll go under our about section. That's not a blog. That's just going to be a very solid piece of content that answers most of these questions. So hopefully I can trigger the AI engines to source that page, whether it's specific about my business or just these non-branded questions. Questions for anybody here.
So are you going to do just a master page, or are you going to do FAQs on each page in addition to the master's page?
In addition to, I'm doing both. I'm leaving no stones unturned. Okay? So, just a real quick, again, you're looking at the industry. I just want to show you one quick thing, and then we're going to move on because we're running out of time, because that's what happens when you hang out with Jimmy. If I go over to the A&M equipment sales and I go to questions, I go back there and I'm going to scroll down to the queries, you'll see something different. You see now purchase, research, support, education, and comparison. For their industry, let's consider them e-commerce, 66% of product availability and type is about purchase. That's huge. If you're not you realize you can make those small tweaks and literally increase your revenue tenfold. This is why this stuff is important and it's relevant to your industry. Okay? If I go to Warby Parker, again, another organization that has the ability to do in-store sales, but we're looking at digital. In most cases here, they should have a purchase intent as well, and they do. Research, go back up here. Research, purchase, education, support, and comparison. Look, the majority of their stuff is about research. So the majority of their stuff is top of funnel versus bottom of the funnel. Where my where A&M Equipment Sale, a majority of their search was bottom of the funnel. Who do you think is doing better overall in AI search? Bottom of funnel. Okay? So I'm going to keep rocking. So now I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of the anatomy of an article. So this is one of an article we did a while back that's doing pretty well for us. It was 10 great earned media examples for marketing success. So you got an image. We have a key highlight. So this here breaks down everything that's going to happen in the article. And then we have the article. These are all H2s with images. And then we have H3s. So we have H2s and H3s, which break down the hierarchy of the blog article. You keep going. We have internal linking going on here. This is to an actual service we offer, press release service. This is to another article. We have links going to external websites that are not ours, because you need both internal and external linking. We come down here. We have a comparison chart. So we have integrated a chart into this to make it more interactive, more images. We have some bullet list strategies for incurring user-generated content. So 1, 2, so these are bullet lists. We have another bullet list. We have more bullet lists, okay? And then we have a frequently asked questions section. Now, this is one of probably 4 articles around this topic. So they work in conjunction with each other, and they're standalone articles. So again, when people go, well, is anybody going to read this 3,000 word article? I couldn't care less if they did. Yes, I want them to read the article, but I'm optimizing it both to be a very useful article for someone who really wants to understand this topic, but it's optimized so I can start to get sourced, because the article proves I know what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, if I look on the back end of that, let's look at I mentioned this is the back end of that same article. And if I go to the Yoast plugin, I can see the SEO is good, the readability is good, the inclusive language is good. But look, we have schema. So if I click on schema, I can mark this as a blog post. I can mark it as an article. I can mark it as a social media posting. I can mark it as a scholarly article. I can mark it as a report. I can mark it as an advertised content article. So that means that someone might have paid you to produce that article on your website on their behalf. So you have to mark it as a sponsored post, sponsored article. If I come over here to default, I can mark it as a frequently asked question page. So that page I told you I was going to create on how moving forward small business help, I'm going to mark it a frequently asked questions page. So when AI search engine scans it, it's going to go, I'm going to treat this as specifically as a page that answers questions on this topic. A QA page, a profile page, a contact page, a medical web page. So depending on the tools you might have available to you, this is how you would mark it out in schema. So this is another thing. Now we mentioned because I'm on because I'm using WordPress, I also have another plugin called Link Whisperer. And Link Whisperer will allow, it uses AI to find other articles on my website and says, here's a great place to, you mentioned this, I would suggest you add a link to that throughout your site. So this is how I build internal linking quickly. So I might go, yeah, I like that one. I don't like that one. I like this one. And then I hit the button because it's a paid account. There's a free version. Right now, I think it works only for WordPress and Spotify. If anybody's interested in Link Whisperer, I'll have the links on the replay page for these tools here. If not, you'll have to do these manually. And this is how I quickly add internal linking to my blog articles, so I don't have to read through my articles and go, well, what article should I link to? I have no clue. I don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. So that's one thing. Now, if I come over here to ScaleNut, I'm in the ScaleNut tool, which is where I write all my articles that I want, that specifically for blogs. And they have this one tool called the content audit. So regularly, it scans all my content to let me know if the content score dropped. And if it does, I come over here and I optimize it to bring that content score back up. So here's a prime example. So if it's yellow, I can improve it. If it's green, it's still good. If it's red, then I go, oh, wow, I need to jump on this one right now. Let me optimize. This is your yearly theme, how to create focus and forward momentum. All right, let me go ahead and optimize this and bring that score back up. Because as time goes, you will start to lose momentum on articles that haven't been updated in a long time. So you can use a tool like ScaleNut to help you do that. And here's another cool thing about ScaleNut. If you happen to be using SEMrush, you actually can integrate SEMrush into your ScaleNut account, and they work together. So that's it. So what I've done is you'll find on the replay page, I created an AI-powered search optimization checklist. So you can now use this here to start to optimize your content. If you have a lot of content, or if you're just starting with content, you can start to build it right for the first time. So this is a checklist that you can get. It's on, it'll be connected to Notion. If you have Notion and it's free, you can import it into Notion and start working with it, or you can just copy it into a Word doc and use it that way. This here, the step-by-step AI visibility checklist is the same one I've been offering every time. Created because Nakisha, because she rocks. And if you're inside of our community, we have additional training around a lot of stuff that I covered today, including this is one of our frameworks on organic and local SEO strategies and unlocking the power of inbound strategies for small businesses. So all of our members have direct access to this training if they want to go deeper on these things. So we in essence don't want to leave any stones unturned as well. Okay, so that is it for day 3. So let me just come back over here. I kind of walked you through some of these tools. So check out the SEMrush tool. Again, there's a 7-day free trial on it. Pull your brand in there. Start to understand what it looks like. If this is important to you, it's a standalone free tool inside the SEMrush tool. You pay $99 a month. I think it's worth it if this is important to you to get ahead of this and start to show up better and understand your competitors inside of AI search. Okay. Next steps. Again, if you can either get on the replay page, you can scan this code to try out the SEMrush tool. 1, 2, we're about to jump over now to a VIP session for anybody who wants to join us and talk a little bit more about this without a presentation, and we can go deeper into any questions anybody has. So this is a one-time fee. Once you pay once, you got access to join live on all the remaining VIP, and then you also have additional access to this content after the September 17th when we take everything down. And then of course you can always book a call with me if you want to talk more about me helping you personally with this whole AI thing. Okay, we got about a couple minutes. Let's see, do we have any questions? I see a couple things. Let me look at the chat here. I see Corey dropped in links, so you can check out those links. So I'm going to pause for a second. Let me get feedback from any one of you 3 before we jump over to the VIP session.
Looks good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Go ahead, Laura. You're done? Same thing. It looks great. I like the checklist. I will definitely be leveraging that. And it also allowed me to see how far ahead you are, Jimmy, and how far ahead we can be by leveraging these resources. When you went in and optimized that article that had a score of 71, I was like, oh, he doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. He just leveraged the AI tool to help optimize the article. So that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you're not guessing anymore. You're just strategizing, and you always bring to the table the expertise. So when you're leveraging these AI tools, I always say you should never have the AI tool writing about topics you have no experience in, because you can't proof it for any errors, any hallucinations, and you can't add your 2 cents. Now, let's say, like, I'm not a finance guy. So now if I produce something around finance, I keep it very vague. I have partnership with affiliate partnerships with QuickBooks. So I might leverage some of their content and put my spin on that, you know. But if I want to go deeper into financial stuff, I need to partner with someone like an Andrew Frazier that can offer his insight. And maybe we joint produce that content together. I bring my expertise, he brings his, and we still serve the audience, and it's 100% accurate. And AI can still help us with to craft a really great piece of content. Corey or Laura?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I like looking at the using the tools and getting the data from them to create those topic clusters. So I think that's a great utilization of something that we're gonna be using in our business to get more of the top of the funnel to get them through the bottom or to the bottom of the funnel. But I like that.
And I like the way you said that. And here's the great thing. If you happen to be using a tool like the SEMrush AI Toolkit and you notice that you've got a lot of bottom of the funnel queries, don't start at the top of the funnel. Start at the bottom of the funnel, because that's where the click-through and the potential opportunity to convert is. Start there first, because you've already, for some reason, you've already ended up on their radar. Give them what they're looking for, and then back into middle of the funnel and top of the funnel content to start to open up, to broaden your reach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, Laura?
I'm just ready to go dive in on the VIP side and see what we come up with this week.
All right. So with that being said, I appreciate all those that showed up live. Thank you for showing up. We're going to move over to VIP. If you've gotten your VIP link, join us on Zoom, and we're just going to have more of a conversation. I'll pull up any tools based on the conversation. You lead the conversation. I support you. All right. Without further ado, thank you. I look forward to day 4, where we're going to dive into competitors. So now we're going to look at, specifically in the SEMrush AI Toolkit, we're going to look at specifically at how, the competitors, how you're able to change out the competitors, and then what are we going to do, because we now know how our competitors might be kicking our butt on certain platforms, or how we might use what we learn about them to our advantage. Okay? With that being said, again, I thank you. Our moving forward small business saying is stay active, stay focused, stay strong. That is the moving forward small business way. Consider joining the community. All resources on the replay page, and we'll see you in day 4. All right. Bye-bye.